Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Laubach, along with Mike Joseph. Welcome to Behind the Mic as we get ready to go to work again this Saturday, 1 o'clock, when we travel to Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, to Christy Mathewson Stadium for the Bucknell Lafayette Patriot League matchup. Bucknell is a football team that comes in at 2-4. They find themselves 1-1 in the Patriot League with a good win over Holy Cross, 21-20. Not so good last week, as Colgate just physically dominated them with a 27-7 score. And Mike, this is a team that's a little hard to get a read on. I know they have suffered with some quarterback problems. The guy who was expected to really lead the team, R.J. Nitty, he got hurt in game 2. He has not been back.
And that's always a struggle. When you have problems at the quarterback position and someone goes down that early, it kind of takes your toll on your entire team. You look at it as, how are we going to move the ball? How are we going to do this and that? But, you know, they've had other guys step up. They've been competitive in a lot of games. Their struggles, I think, have just become a situation where they sometimes lack a running game, just as we do. And then that downfield passing game, which I think they had last year, where they always had an ability for somebody to blow the top off the defense, which opens up so much. And don't we know that better than anybody? But I think that the lack of that has kind of trickled its way down. And
they have that guy in Will Carter. He's an outstanding receiver, 32 catches on the year. But they did go to Matt Mew, and Matt Mew was carrying them ever since the injury, but he did not produce too well on Saturday. So ironically, they bring in a kid named John Charlanzio, a name we know very well.
Yeah, brother of Luke, and Luke was so dominant here, was such a fantastic player. And right out of here in New Jersey, Del Barton, he's taken over. And you know he's a smart kid. You know he's going to be able to run the offense that they give him. He's going to, as you continue to use him week by week, you can add more. But I think Lafayette's got to be ready for the basics. Be ready to block and tackle, you know, things that they've really struggled with, especially defensively tackling. They're going to have to look for the basics, run a basic game plan, and then when they have chances to bring pressure on Mew, they're going to have to do it.
Bucknell does run the ball very well with Joey DeFlorio. He's a junior. He is over 600 yards rushing this year and 6 touchdowns. But he also, as Mike mentioned and Will mentioned in his Blackboard talk this week, he'll catch the ball out of the backfield. He has 17 catches and 1 touchdown receiving the football. As we look at them defensively, they've got an outstanding linebacker, as almost everyone does, in Ben Richardson, but they've got a guy at defensive tackle, Abdullah Anderson, who could really cause us some problems.
Oh, and he's an amazing football player. He's explosive. You know, when you talk about defensive linemen, you got to want guys to get off the ball, guys that cause havoc, guys you have to double team. And Abdullah, he's that type of guy. You have to have 2 guys on him. If not, especially interior, when he has the ability to collapse the pocket. You know, we always talk about edge rushers and speed rushers and things like that. Lafayette has those, Bo Bosch and also on the other side. But you have to have guys inside, a guy like Matt Rothrock, who can collapse the pocket, and Anderson does that. He's going to make Drew move his feet, or Blake, whoever it is, he's going to make him slide, step up, and those are things that you know, when you have that power inside, it does something to a quarterback. It can make you a little antsy.
Well, let's talk about the Lafayette Leopards. 6 consecutive losses, coming off a thrashing by Army this past Saturday. And, Mike, I don't know whether the biggest problem, because we have a lot of injuries, the biggest problem is a physical problem or is it more a mental problem?
Well, it seemed this week more mental. Frank had said he didn't feel like the kids were ready to play. I find that hard to believe. I mean, Army is a tough place to play, and they get momentum and it starts to snowball. I've been on that field. I've been in those situations where you feel everything you try, they have an answer for. And they do, because if you take away the dive, they're going to pitch it. If you take away the pitch, they're going to do that. If you crowd the line of scrimmage, they're going to throw it over your head. They have an answer for everything you do, Army. So I take that film and I put it in the back, and I'll look at it, you know, next time. So there's not much you can do about that. So whether or not it was mental or physical, I think we went back just a couple weeks ago where I said the problems on offensive line were physical. The problems on the defensive side were a little bit more mental. They're going to have to be up to the challenge this week, but I think they have an opportunity against maybe another backup quarterback where they can bring some pressure. I want to see Lafayette bring some heat. I want to see them use the athleticism that they have, and I continue to hear all the athleticism. We have great athletes. Bring some pressure, let guys make plays, and if you're going to get beat deep, you might as well come after it and knock the quarterback down.
And this is a rivalry. It's the 93rd game between these two football teams, and Lafayette has sort of dominated Bucknell, but not recently. They've won 11 of the last 14, has Lafayette, but they have not won the last 2. Bucknell has won 2 in a row. This should be a real battle. Lafayette obviously needs a big win. We'll bring it to you at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So please join Mike and join myself. This has been Behind the Mic.